Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Peter King. I mean, here's a guy with like 40 years of being a great politician, so he has better instincts than me. What do you think, Pete? You think of all the Trumps, once the president is done, that Lara is got the most potential to be the next great Trump politician? What do you think?
She certainly is. First, it's great to be with you. Now, she has great talent. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Show on Fox is doing well. She handles herself well. She's able to put up with you and make believe she likes you. So she has all the skills that are needed, you know?
I've actually asked her once or twice if she's making believe. She said, no way. She says, you're the best. All right, so we've had a couple of great days. Pete King in Congress and all these anti-Trump backstabbers that for some reason, I don't know why, they think crapping all over Israel is going to help them. It's making some of these podcasters money. It's great for Tucker and great for Megyn Kelly. But we're starting to see now, state after state after state, when you stab Trump in the back, when you pull that anti-Israel garbage, blame Israel for everything, when you yell and scream about the war, when you do all these things, you lose. And sometimes, as a pretty big favorite, you lose badly. So as I've said all morning long, Peter King, based on the most recent results in 3 or 4 different states, MAGA is alive and well. Yes?
There's no doubt within the Republican Party, Donald Trump has the support. And I think as far as Israel being an issue, that is something on the far left, which unfortunately too many politicians have felt it's an easy way to, as you said, make money on their podcast. But also others have lost their nerve. Certainly the Democratic Party, a lot of Democrats who have traditionally been pro-Israel are now backing away. They're afraid of that left wing. And then Republicans, some of them on the fringes, like the Marjorie Taylor Greene types, Thomas Massey last night, they falling into this thing that somehow that's capturing the country. It's not. Most Americans, when it comes time to vote, realize that Israel is our closest ally in the Middle East. The Middle East is right now the center of the world as far as future violence and trouble. And if we didn't have Israel on our side, forgetting the fact, listen, I always said in my first 10 years in Congress, I had many, Jewish voters in my district. My last 18 years, I had virtually none, the way the lines were drawn. I was as strong for Israel in the final 18 as I was in the first 10, not just for any feelings I have for Israel, and I've been there a number of times, but the main thing was we need Israel. It's in America's national interest. And whether or not it was a Jewish state, Arab state, no matter what it was, Israel is absolutely essential to us. They have been with us. They've always been with us, going back to all of their prime ministers. There's been some ups and downs, but there's never any wavering in the strong relationship between us. The fact that we do have obligations because of the Holocaust, that is absolutely essential also. But nothing is more important from an American point of view than Israel is such a strong and definite ally. And I can tell you from being in Congress in those years, being in the Homeland Security Committee, being on the Intelligence Committee, the intelligence that Israel shares with us and we share with them, they are indispensable to American foreign policy.
Trump told me on this show not that long ago, he said, Sid, 15 years ago, the strongest lobby was Israel. 15. He said, you would never, ever, ever hear a bunch of politicians come out against Israel. He actually said to me at the time, this is going back 2 Julys ago, he goes, now they all do, the whole Democrat Party. Republicans more on the podcast side than politicians, although we've got, Thomas Massey, he lost, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, she would have lost. She went home. And if I was Rand Paul, I'd be very nervous this morning. If I was Lauren Boebert, I'd be very nervous this morning. I think all these people that have decided to go against Trump, whether it's the Israel or the Iran or any one of these policies, are going to find out very, very quickly that, no, the nation, the country is not siding with you. We are not a country of anti-Semites and conspiracy theorists. We're not. Because if we were, then Massey would have won last night. When he said afterwards, we are starting something big here. The country is yearning for this. Could you sound dumber? You just lost by 10 points. If the country was yearning for this, you would have won. Isn't that pretty easy to figure out, Pete?
Especially in Massey's district. There's other districts which are in Democratic areas, but as far as Massey, that is one of the most pro-Republican districts in the country. If he couldn't win there, he couldn't win anywhere. I mean, that is, apart from the fact that he's been there for 14 years. By the way, I have different feelings toward Thomas Massey over the years. I used to sort of respect him. I didn't agree with him much, but he was a very decent guy, a libertarian. The last few years, that whole thing with Epstein, what started that? I don't know. Listen, I agree with you that terrible things happened with Epstein, but to somehow imply that the president was covering up, the president was involved, and identifying with the left wing of the Democratic Party on that was totally off the charts. And then this whole thing with Israel, listen, I understand him. He's a bit of an isolationist, etc. But to be talking about Israel controlling our foreign policy, Israel having an influence, if there's anything, all the things you can say about Donald Trump, some good, some bad, whatever, no one's going to control him. I mean, whether it's Bibi Netanyahu, it doesn't matter who it is, Donald Trump is his own man. And there's been any number of times in the first term and in this term where he and Bibi Netanyahu have had disagreements behind the scenes. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm sure there's things Netanyahu wanted to do that Donald Trump would not go along with. This Donald Trump is calling the shots in Iran. For better or for worse, and I support his policies in Iran. There was a Donald Trump's policies. Netanyahu is a strong ally with us, but the man calling the shots, the man who is in charge is Donald Trump. And for people to imply this was where we go beyond an honest disagreement that people have with Israel on certain issues. This is where it comes over into anti-Semitism.
100%.
The whole thing, the Jews control Hollywood, the Jews control the banks, and now they control American foreign policy because Bibi Netanyahu has a hold on Donald Trump. That is absolute nonsense, and that's where you've crossed the line into anti-Semitism.
Reed, you just said that perfectly. That's right. It's not about policy differences. These people always expose themselves eventually. Massey last night, he just lost. He was a big favorite. He lost by nearly double digits because, part of the reason, his rhetoric on Israel. And yet, here he is on stage about to concede, and the moron said this. You believe that? To find Ed Gelron in Tel Aviv, you just lost because of stupidity like that. I guess it doesn't matter. All right, let's get to New York City. Mamdani, that Nakba day that we went through last week when he rewrote history. I mean, Israel in 1947 agreed to split the land. They agreed to split it. And then 5 Arab nations, 5 of them, and Egypt and Syria and Jordan, they decided in 1948, we want the land, we want all of it, not good enough. We're going to kill all the Jews and take it. So they started the war, and we won. We always win. So what happened? These Palestinians, they were actually, looking for a place to live because of their own people. It had nothing to do with Israel. We agreed to split the land in 1947, and this anti-Semite, this horrible mayor, rewrote history with this Nakba Day nonsense a couple of days ago. That'll bother you, no?
Absolutely. First of all, Israel, in those original lines, was much, much smaller than it is now. I mean, the fact is they were given a small area of land, and they accepted it, and they wanted to work with the Arab neighbors. And you're right, they invaded them, as they invaded them in 1967, as they did in 1973. We go through all of this. And, of course, we saw what happened in 2023. So, no, it's historically, it's been Israel has been the one looking for peace, looking for settlement, and yet the Arab nations now, most of the Arab nations, quite frankly, and this is partly because of Donald Trump's diplomacy, most of the Arab nations either publicly or privately stand with Israel, support Israel, and it's the Palestinian radicals that are opposed. Iran has latched on to that. But no, Israel is the one, again, from the start, they were more than satisfied with the land allocated to them, which is nowhere near the size it is now. The reason it's expanded is because they were taking land to defend themselves from the attacks that were being made. I mean, the Arabs, I guess it was the Israeli leader, Avi Eben, who said that basically the Palestinians never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. And that's what this has been about over the years. There were so many chances for peace. Sadat finally grabbed it. Jordan has grabbed it. The Saudis, I think, wanted to grab it, which is why I think Iran launched the attack on back in October 2023.
So last night I made my way to Hewlett, lovely place on Long Island. your place, Long Island, for Dove and Shawnee hiking. They've got this great organization, a Toret Kohanim, where they actually are buying land in the old city in Jerusalem and making sure that Jewish people are moving back. Because as you know, even though Israel won all those wars, a lot of the Jews did leave, were forced to leave the old city, and they're still not back. So Ataret Kohanim with Moti Dan and Dan Laurie and the Hikins, they do a great job with that. So I went to this event last night. I go every year. They played a nice recording on the big screen from Bruce Blakeman, because Bruce couldn't be there last night because he was at a big GOP dinner, which I was invited to, too, here in New York City with Ron DeSantis and a bunch of others. I wasn't there, but I was told by people there that Bruce Blakeman was amazing last night. What did you see or hear?
Oh, Bruce is phenomenal. By the way, Janine Driscoll is one of your new member of Congress from that area, and I thought she was great on your show yesterday.
He was.
I'll tell you how things have changed. And Bruce is doing a great job. And I heard, Joe Benigno said before that the polls show Bruce isn't doing well. Actually, you analyze the polls. First of all, like the Siena poll always polls more Democrats than Republicans. But apart from all that, even in that poll, Kathy Hochul's favorable numbers are 46%, under 50. I mean, after 5 years in office, more than half the state does not have a good opinion of her. And the unwritten rule in politics is that if you are an incumbent and you're under 50%, you can lose. The odds are you can lose, and Bruce is tapping into that. He's going everywhere. This guy is doing everything that can be done. If anyone can cut into that and grab that extra, those votes that are right now undecided or are not willing to support Kathy Hochul, Bruce can do it. And Bruce is the real deal. He's the real deal in every respect. I've known him for 30, 40 years. My daughter worked closely with him when they were on the Hempstead Town Board together. Bruce is Bruce. He goes his own way in an independent way. That independent way, to me, always ends up being the right way. And, you mentioned Eula. It's really interesting. First time I ran for office, and I'm dating myself, 1977, and then councilman ran town-wide. So we had the whole 850,000 people, including the 5 towns. And Joe Margiotto, our county chairman, was saying to guys like me, stay out of the 5 towns. They're going to kill us. They were like 90% Democrat.
Yeah.
I mean, they were overwhelmingly Democrat. Now, I think it was the last election, it was some election district I think it was in Eula or Woodmere, where the Republican won like 110 to 2.
Yeah.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
You know, you can thank for that the Jews. It's all the Republican Jews that moved there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been such a change. And also many people, and again, I'm not speaking for Jews, but in the Jewish community, so many of them who traditionally just went down the line and voted Democrat realize that now the Democratic Party is not standing with Israel, does not stand with the basic Judeo-Christian principles. And so more and more in the Jewish community, not just the Orthodox, but others, are really starting to vote Republican, consider Republicans. And if anyone can tap into that, it's Bruce Blake.
Agreed. No, more and more in common sense places like your county, they're doing that. But you get the Jews here in New York City, they're still idiots. They're my people. I love them, but they're idiots. They'll never vote the other way. You get Jews in Brooklyn. I mean, I got to wrap this up, but a couple nights ago, Mayor Mamdani, who hates the Jews, I'll say it again, he hates the Jews. He celebrated Shavuot, a big Jewish holiday, at Gracie Mansion, and Jews showed up. Now, the number was not as big as Mamdani would have liked or his supporters would tell you. So I'm going to give my people some credit, but there were Jews there. A couple of Satmar rabbis, not to single out the Satmars, but 2 rabbis in particular. So, there's still plenty of Jews here in New York especially that can't seem to figure out the obvious, which is the Republican Party cares about us, looks to protect us. The Democrats want us dead. Bottom line, Pete.
I think too many people, probably Jews more than others, but even others in the business community, somehow think that Mamdani is going to end up doing the right thing. And right now, he's just learning how to do the job. He's making some mistakes, but we can count on him. No, he knows what he's doing. This guy is good. He's good as far as getting his job done. His job is to change New York City into a socialist haven, to go against the basic values that Jews and Christians have had over the years. He's not pro-American. He's anti-cop. He's anti-middle class, and everything about him. But he knows what he's doing. We got to forget this thing that somehow he won on a fluke, or they stole votes, or that he's learning. No, he knew exactly what he was doing. His campaign was brilliant.
Yep.
He's a smart guy, and unfortunately, those brains are being used against what you and I and the majority of New Yorkers should believe in.
Pete King is always an amazing segment. You're so good on Wednesdays. I love you. That was really, really great. Thank you so much. And we'll do it again next week. Have a great week. Thank you, buddy.
You got it, Sid.
What a great job right there. The former congressman. He really is terrific. We discuss everything on this show. Our good friend Peter King.